I still feel like I have a channeled message here. Goes along with the Pisces read. Because I don't feel like this was. The two of you are heading to the corner to meet up with one another. But the reason that perception is off, it's because it's in shadow and there's a fog there. The reason there's a fog there is that both sides, I think, have a difficult time of, it's about love. Look for the Ace of Cups, Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is the problem because you see love as someone else has to fill your cup and no one ever has filled the cup. So what you've done is you've gone around and filled the cup with other people's offerings to it. That and the fact that you've taken your pain from tears and filled your own cup. Then when the cup was full, you lived off of that for far too long. It was like going in the desert and living off of something that was supposed to sustain you for a moment. It wasn't even supposed to sustain you at all. The poison water from it came from pain, and you lived off of pain. So then when you got to the place where you hit an oasis, you didn't know what real water was, real love was. So you're hitting this corner to where both of you are to meet up with one another and to come back around to where the two of you are meant to be. But at the same time, the lesson still hasn't been learned about what you've been filling your cup up with. You fill your cup up with external, even internal tears, then it's not even going to fill the cup. What is going to end up happening is shattering. There it is, shattering the cup itself. There's a teaching about porcelain cups, what is it, Japanese, that they used to mend the cups with gold. Your inner vessel, though, isn't supposed to be cracked. It's not supposed to be that way. The healing takes longer to come because when it becomes cracked, it's actually needing a soul retrieval because it's part of your soul that's been fractured. Especially when you don't see that you're worthy of love. And if someone has brought you to that place where you actually believe that you're not worthy of love, you will live off your own tears to fill that cup. Then you'll go even search out for those that will make you cry in order to keep the cup filled. So you're supposed to meet at the corner. Big lesson here was, what are you filling the cup with? You can't rely on the offerings from others. You can't rely on rainwater. You can't rely on that. Rain is supposed to purify the thoughts, clear the mind of the earth. In the atmosphere is all of our thoughts and negative words that get held in the upper canopy. You can't rely on the rain to even fill that up. You have to learn to go to the spring, and the spring is within you. But you have to be a full vessel in order to get to that spring. One is going to keep slowing down. The other one's going to keep getting diverted. There's a timetable for the two of you to get to that corner. If one keeps slowing down, the other one keeps getting diverted, CEO of the company is going to get pissed. And I feel like that's coming too. You can slow down your progress. You have to keep moving forward, even if this means playing catch up. Play catch up to move forward because time's ticking. You have to get to that corner. Two of you got to hit that corner at the exact same time for this to work out. And there are things in play behind the scenes to get both of you there. Like arranging timetables, arranging people in different places, arranging this, arranging that to get the two of you at that corner at the same time. But if you don't learn to love yourself and mend your own inner vessel, all you'll do is keep slowing down this timetable. You cannot fill that cup with other people's offerings. You cannot expect somebody else to fill that cup. You have to be able to fill the cup yourself. Both sides have to be equally in this all together. If both sides aren't equally in this, whichever is giving more, their cup is bigger. I feel like both sides, though, there's a mending to the inner cup that has to happen here. Heart chakra awakening, but heart chakra healing. Even if it's slight crack in the vessel, that's still a slight crack that will leak out necessary flow. If you look up Lakshmi, the goddess Lakshmi, and she's referred to, like the description of her is like a fountain, where she will give out abundance and resources. But at the same time, she teaches that in order to get that into your life, there has to be a flow. The flow is you have to give out in order to receive. When you give out of the little that you have, even if it's an offering from someone else, or if it's the small that you've managed to place into this vessel, and you give it out, that's when you're healing the vessel. That's where the flow comes in. So one person doesn't, one of the two that's to me at this corner, one doesn't want to give out. And it's not that they don't want to give out. They're in this survival mode to where they can't give out. They believe that if they give out, they'll go through the starvation. When you get into a survival mode, you start hoarding food. You start worrying about it. It becomes this, you have to pull yourself out of it in order to keep going, in order to believe that you can rise above it. I feel like with love too, it's like this too. You get emotional fulfillment, and when you get that emotional fulfillment, you start hoarding it. You don't want to give it away because it's equivalent of rainwater hitting the desert floor. And you're believing that it's drying up all the way, like immediately hitting. It's just drying up, and it's not, but it's collecting beneath the surface. There's different water, what is it called? Water reservoirs, like groundwater beneath the surface that it collects. When you give it out though, and you allow the fountain to flow, that's where you're healing the actual vessel. One person though hasn't figured that out because it's almost like they've been starving. But when you give out, the vessel begins to heal. There's a timetable. This has to be done now. I feel like if it's not done now and the two of you don't meet at the corner, one is going to be diverted this way and it's going to break their heart to do so. And they're not going to want to go that way. And they're going to fight it, and they're going to want to stay there waiting for the other one. But it's gotten to the point where there's plan B for one side. Okay, that's it. Love and light.